It doesn't say, like, let's say in a chat, just because it says B+, doesn't mean it's me, because it's very easy to clone people. I know that many of you know that, but if you don't, I mean, I'm more than happy to show you how easy it would be to turn this account here that I'm under into you. I would never do that because I like being myself. I don't want to pretend to be anybody else but myself. That doesn't appeal to me. But some people on here do for malicious reasons, or some of them, I don't know, just aren't. I have no idea. I'm not going to justify it. I think it's bullshit, but they do it to troll. But this is no different, except the difference is that with this, guys, I'm thinking that they're doing it like and I'm going to say the names later tonight. And there's a method to my madness. There's a reason. Bear with me, guys. I promise it'll make sense. But if I'm going to upload this first, I'm not going to mention names quite yet. Everybody, most of you probably already know who I'm talking about. But I need to find, there's one detail I'm waiting on, that if I can get the answer to this, then that's a wrap. I've tied this case up in a neat bow to present to all of you to show what kind of fuckery these two have been up to. And here's like what people do, right? So they'll create accounts. And you can name it whatever you want. Let's say somebody knew something about me that would press my buttons, or that people would feel bad for me if they saw it in chat, right? So let's say I don't know, let's use the email that these people, or this person rather, although I believe all of them are in on it, created the Granny Hates Emma account, and then sending me these long string of emails that I've shown you guys that said things like, I'm his crackhead mom, and knowing that I'm dealing with the stuff with my birth mom, and all that lovely fucking hell. Oh my god, I think I just had a bee almost fly in my mouth. Ew. Okay. Oh, I'm actually allergic to bees, guys, like in real life, so don't have an EpiPen. That would be really bad. But yeah, so there, the people will make these accounts, and they'll go into people's chats, and they'll, it could be anybody's chat, but let's say, and I'm using this as an example because it is actually one of the people that's getting done to. Let's say this person doesn't like Granny's Watching and wants to make Granny's Watching look really bad. So what they'll do is they'll go into Granny's chat, and their name will be, let's say that it's somebody who's trying to, I'm going to use myself for an example, guys, but just know I'm using myself. This is hypothetical. They'll say, Emma's, mom is whatever. They'll say some sort of information, whether it be identifying information or just something completely rude and inappropriate, or something about my children, or so on and so forth. And then what they'll do is they'll take a screenshot of it. And sometimes the names that they give themselves are completely innocuous. It's like they roll the dice and it's generated. So, just looking at what I'm looking at, they'd be like Cloud Tree 55 or something, it'll be something stupid. So it doesn't even have to be something malicious in the title of their name on their screen name, but they'll have that comment, and then what they'll do is they'll take a screenshot of that comment, and then what they'll do is they'll retract it, or if they don't retract it, if it's something particularly heinous, the mods will delete it. But sometimes they'll retract it before that can happen, and sometimes, if they're trying to make it seem like Granny's allowing stuff in her chat that she's not, they'll do it in a way, they'll be screen recording, and they'll do it in a way where there's no possible way Granny could have seen it, so she can't address it, but their narrative will be this was said in your chat about my child, and nobody did anything about it, and Granny just allowed it. And how many times have we seen that post? How many times have we seen that narrative, guys? Many times. When in reality, and a lot of people, are watching these people because they don't like Jess, and because they don't like Jess, they're just going to take it at face value. They're not going to go look for themselves to see, what actually happened. And because the message was retracted, if they do, like, you're not going to be able to see it any other way. So unfortunately, it makes it look that like Jess allows this in her chat when she doesn't. And I've seen that done, and these particular people have a big issue with Jess and me, but mostly her. So that's something that they've definitely done to her. Or, it'll either go two ways. It'll be like they'll say something particularly horrible about, let's say Dorothy's child, for example. And then they'll use the narrative for that. Or they'll say it about themselves and then go with the woe is me narrative of, look what they're saying. Look what somebody said and it was allowed, depending on what reaction they want. Do they want outrage or do they want sympathy? Really depends. So I've been noticing that a lot lately. And then what I was finding a little odd was that every time, almost automatically, the first videos that I would see as a response. Well, okay, let me wind back. Here's the ADHD talking, going a mile a minute. Doesn't help him out of breath. Probably should have just waited, but I'll explain this in more definitive ways later. Okay, hold on. Let me figure out the best way to say this. Okay. Hold on, guys. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh God, my brain is like I said, a mile a minute, and I'm having a hard time like putting my thoughts into words that make sense about this because I'm so fired up and pissed off about it. I'm so pissed off about it. But okay, all right. So every time, sometimes there will be videos made, right? So these little clip videos, not even clip videos because they're not actual clips being used. Sometimes it's just a little slideshow of pictures or animations that you can get from like stock images or whatever. And it's like these stupid little videos that say something that is just perfectly crafted, targeted hate. Perfectly crafted. Like it is like, if you wanted to make a video that would perfectly push everybody's buttons to get a particular response, that video does it. And it'll come out from some account with some name like Tree Cloud. And everyone's like, I don't know who that is. And it's some brand new account, so you can't even look at its history because, somebody made a new email and made it. And they put this video out. And the video starts going around. And it, a lot of the time, take a look at who the first people to respond to those videos are. Take a look. Take a look at who has a habit of finding these screenshots of people talking about a family member of theirs or about somebody that's like a hot topic like Dorothy's child. Look at the people who have a habit of being the first ones to post about it. Because I find it really interesting that some people have this happen to them so much. Like it's all the time, and they always just so happen to have that screenshot. And I know that these people don't really have many people that like them. So I don't think it's because people are sending it to them. No, don't think that. Is it possible that they just have that much time on their hands? I guess. But no. I think a lot of this is them doing it themselves. So they'll go and they'll make an account themselves. They'll go in and under a different name and make these comments and take a screenshot and then be like, look what somebody said. And it's not real. And what the mistake that they're making is that, first of all, they are the first people, and it's especially with these videos, and it's especially when they're doing the outrage about somebody else. They are the first ones to jump on it every time. There is immediately a response from them. Immediately. And it's kind of odd. It's like, this video was just uploaded and suddenly you're already responding to it. You've already seen it. Nobody tagged you in it. There's no indication that this was about you. The algorithm's not that great. Like there was a video that was made about me, right? That I think was made in like April or March or April. And I didn't see it until July. Might have been August even. I had never seen it. And I think I had my name right in the title. I don't think they tagged me, but I think it had like my name. So I could be wrong. I'd have to double check. But you know, the algorithm never put that in my suggested. I never saw it. I literally had never seen it. And it had been on there for like 6 months. So I find it interesting that these people always seem to know when this happens automatically. And they are the first people to say something about it. And it happens to them so often. It's like, how many times is this going to happen? It doesn't happen to anybody else. Nobody else, this isn't happening to anybody else. But what I find interesting is that as of right now, you know, there was a video made about some rumor regarding Dorothy and her sons, which, you know, if I'm wrong and this isn't something planned and orchestrated, that's messed up. That shouldn't be happening. I don't condone that. But here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. So this okay, I don't want to reveal too much of what I know yet. God, okay. Like I said, I'm waiting on this one last piece of information and also the permission to repeat something. Because I don't think this person really wants to be involved. And they're not a part of this, but let's just put it this way. The topic that they used is very interesting. So, you know, obviously kids are going to get a reaction, and it's about Dorothy's kids. And, you know, she has been quiet for a while, but two of her, like, big supporters right now are two people, and I'm really leaning towards one more than the other, but I do think they're both involved. And all of a sudden, this happens. I guess somebody mentioned maybe CJ was being blamed, which this isn't CJ, guys. CJ didn't make this. Not even close. But look at who's making clip videos about CJ, though. Look who's been making clip videos about Granny. Look who's been bringing up stuff that was said that Granny had mentioned months ago, 6-7 months ago, bringing up clips about that and just now responding to it. Look at who's doing that. And I will use names later. There is a particular person who is just now, being outraged about Granny and finding all of these little clips that out of context will make it seem as if perhaps she is behind this video, which she's not. The problem that these two face, though, is that they both have very distinct ways of structuring sentences and spelling and word usage, and I pick up on those patterns. And even when I can tell they're trying to deviate from it to make it seem like it's something else, I can tell. And that's exactly where this is coming from. It's coming from the same place that the emails that have been coming at me for months are coming from. And those emails only started after I started speaking out again about Dorothy, or rather after she screwed me over, because it started before I even said a damn word. From a particular somebody that, like I said, don't think is responsible for making these videos, but they probably know about it. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying, though. It really just furthers their narrative of that these people are doing these awful things that they're not doing, and I just don't get it. And it's an obsession. It is. Like, these people, nobody did anything to these people. Nothing. These are people that I had never even spoken about, except maybe in passing. And then all of a sudden I'm not even going to list the things I've been accused of. Being a terrorist. I was accused of being an abuser, about somebody I've never talked to. And Granny, the same thing, where, receipts have been shown that Jess was nothing but good to these people. And still, apparently she is public enemy number one. And the sad truth is that with people like that, like, their brains don't work properly, and it's a chemical imbalance. And, without proper, taking care of it, like whether it be through medication or, therapy, but sometimes even when you're doing both those things, sometimes it's still everything's not gonna wire correctly, and I get that, but, there's no reasoning. I have no explanation for any of this, and why they think the way they do, and how that, things can be done differently so that this doesn't continue. But I really, and it's a problem though, because these are people's reputations, I've been very careful with what I've been saying since a particular incident, and it's because that, like, when you're saying things like that about somebody, right? When you're saying that I'm abusing you on the internet, when you're saying that I'm attacking you and stalking you and harassing you when I've never spoken to you, never. And I certainly have never done any of those things. You say you have receipts, nobody's ever seen them because they don't exist. But you continue with this, and you're tagging me in your videos. The problem is that those videos start to come up in people that I know in my real life, recommended, right? And they're seeing that, and that's my reputation, okay? That's my reputation, based on lies. You're saying lies on top of lies on top of lies. Like, if it was a clip video, right? If you had used clips of me where I'm actually speaking, then fine, using my own words against me. You said it. If I said it, then sure, fair game. But you're not even doing that, because there are no voice clips. You don't have anything. All your videos are is your own narrative and storytelling time, and that's just what they are, stories. And the problem with that, though, is that, you're putting it out there and spinning this narrative that anybody can see. And like I said, it would be one thing if there are voice clips to accompany it. That's one thing, because that's your own damn fault if you said those things, right? But when there aren't, and people are just seeing that in the title, and then they're hearing you say that, and they're like, wow, that's really out of character for Emma, but, I don't know why this woman would be saying this. It's a problem. And I'm not down with it. Like, I'm not going to just allow it. Like, I'm mentally ill excuse it doesn't fly with me. I'm sorry. It's not an excuse to abuse people. It's not a get out of jail free card to, trash people's reputations, involve people in their real lives, go real life, and accuse them of all sorts of horrendous things, to the point where that, I'm having to have conversations that I shouldn't have to have with anybody about stuff that it's not even real. Like, if it's at that point, like, honest to God, like, something you're doing is not working. Like, if you're in therapy, I don't know, maybe you're not being honest with them about what's going on. If maybe it's time for, you guys like to say, I need a med adjustment. In fact, I think that actually, you've said that in a chat, so, okay, I do feel comfortable saying it. You have said it about me. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe something's not working anymore. Maybe you stop taking them. Maybe it's time to add something. I don't know. But you can't keep going on like this, and I'm not going to just be quiet. I'm not doing it. I did that for long enough, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't matter if I'm quiet. It doesn't matter. Regardless, the voices that apparently I am one of these voices in your head. It's, regardless of whether, they're there, regardless of whether I mention you or not. It's like every day it's something new about it. And the problem is, though, is that, what happened to me was bad, but what's being done to Granny's watching is worse. And it's obsessive. And it is, and they're trying to pin this on her. And she didn't do this. CJ didn't do this. Jess didn't do this. No. These kind of videos are coming from somebody very close to Dorothy. Now, whether Dorothy's involved and knows about it or not, I don't know. I can't say for certain. Dorothy has admitted through her own mouth, not just to me, but to other people, that she is all about orchestrated drama. So, you know, unfortunately, that would indicate that this isn't something that, you know, outside of the realm of possibilities of things that she would do. But I do think this is coming from somebody close that is trying to frame other people in a bad light and create some sort of outrage towards them. I truly